Here's what you should know about your local housing market in this week's Market Update. Humans are simple creatures. If there's never any better example of that, we had a few warm days this past week, and bam, that market lit up. Shout out to you, Ray Manna, professor of marketing at Yeshiva University. I mean, perfect example of consumer behavior and external factors that affect it this week. We've been in a frigid freeze for weeks, months, and we get a few warm days and the market is on fire. So let's take a look at this past week in Morristown, Chatham, Madison, Harding, Mars Plains, Mendham, Chester, Bernardsville, Basking Ridge, and Randolph. We saw 67 homes come on the market in these towns this past week. That's a 72% increase over the prior week. Whoa, that is a big jump up. We saw numbers as high as 16 new homes in Basking Ridge, 14 in Chatham, and 11 in Morristown and Township. Those ones really carried most of that weight here this past week. Out of these, 44 were single-family houses and 23 were condos or townhouses. The average list price of these homes this past week was $1,053,000. No big astronomical outliers even pulling that up. I mean, we saw numbers anywhere from the 5s to the 1.5, 1.6 range, but that's the highest we hit with the average list price. So pretty steady mid-market stuff going on here. Total inventory. Woo, we haven't seen this in a while. 198 homes actively on the market. That's a 19% increase over last week. That's good. Let's keep in this direction. We need homes to sell. We got a lot of buyers out there. A lot of demand to meet. However, keep in mind, my home sellers, I've been saying this during that frigid freeze when no one wanted to leave their houses. Yeah, the weather's going to look beautiful. The sun's going to be out. The flowers going to be in bloom. But your competition is going to be out and plentiful. So there's still time to get ahead of that competition. I expect to see these numbers of homes available ticking up as we get more and more into spring. Total homes sold this past week. We saw 8 homes sell this past week. That's a 47% decrease over the prior week. Keep in mind, that's lagging data. So we really haven't had a lot of homes in the past couple of months to sell. So not terribly surprising. Average list price of the homes that sold this past week was $924,000, and the average sale price was $997,000. Sale to list ratio. This past week, we saw homes sell for an average of 7.3% above list price. Remember that lagging data? Remember I've been saying, hey, the data's really not doing us justice. Homes are bidding up significantly. And if you're looking at data to justify the price you're paying for a home, you are going to be misled. Well, that data is going to start catching up. So let's keep an eye for that. So 7.3% above list price with homes sold this past week. We saw only one town that homes sold below list price. That was Basking Ridge, where we saw 2 homes sell and there was an average of 0.5% below the list price. Otherwise, everything above and way above list price this past week. We saw everything from 2% above list price in Morristown and Township. We saw 5% above list price in Bernardsville, 6% above list price in Mars Plains. We saw 14% above list price in Chatham, and we saw a whopping 17% above list price in Mendham. Out of the homes that sold, they were on the market for an average of 32 days. However, there's a huge outlier in Morristown and Township of 97 days. That's one home that really gave us a big outlier. Otherwise, homes were looking between 9 days and 30 days. So pretty much homes are selling within a week or two, other than the few outliers. Under contract. Homes that went under contract this last week, 32 homes. That is a whopping 45% increase over the prior week. Average list price of these homes was $1,200,000, and the average days on market of these homes was 38 days on the market. It's a 22% increase over the prior week, but we really actually, in most of these towns, we saw a decrease, if not a substantial decrease, in days on market. Most of the towns we're looking at, like I said, 2 weeks on the market. We had two big outliers in Madison with 45 days on the market, or actually three big outliers. Madison, 45 days on the market. Mendham, 72 days on the market. Bernardsville, 41 days. Randolph, 67 days. But then we saw under contract Morristown, 12 days, 15 days in Chatham, so 22 days in Chester. So we're seeing most of these homes sell very quickly. We're still really seeing a big divide. Either you're selling in 2 weeks or you're selling in 2 months. There's not a lot of in between. Once you've passed that, kind of 2-3 week mark, if you haven't sold because the market's so hot, home buyers are looking and saying, what's going on here? So make sure you're priced appropriately and marketed appropriately. You got to get yourselves out there. You got to create that excitement. Make sure your agent is utilizing all the marketing avenues for you. So that being said, thanks so much for checking in with me this week. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope I see you at the Morris County St. Patrick's Day Parade tomorrow. It's going to be a great time. Catch you guys again next week.